Coffee, the beloved beverage enjoyed by millions worldwide, starts its journey as a humble bean. But before it becomes the drink we know and love, it undergoes a fascinating transformation. These beans are actually seeds found inside bright red berries, often called coffee cherries, which grow on flowering shrubs known as coffee plants. The process of harvesting these cherries is both an art and a science, requiring careful timing and skilled hands. Originating in the highlands of Ethiopia, coffee plants thrive in tropical and subtropical regions around the globe. Ethiopia is often referred to as the birthplace of coffee, where ancient legends speak of its discovery by a goat herder named Kaldi. These evergreen shrubs flourish in warm climates with ample rainfall and well-drained soil. The ideal conditions for coffee plants include a balance of sunlight and shade, which helps in developing the rich flavors of the beans. There are two main species of coffee plants, Arabica and Robusta. Each species has its own unique growing requirements and flavor profiles. Arabica, known for its smoother, more nuanced flavor, is the more popular variety, accounting for roughly 60% of global production. It is often grown at higher altitudes, which contributes to its complex taste. Robusta, as its name suggests, boasts a bolder, more bitter taste and higher caffeine content. This variety is typically grown at lower altitudes and is more resistant to pests and diseases. Each variety possesses unique characteristics that contribute to the diverse flavors found in our daily cup of coffee. From the fruity and floral notes of Ethiopian beans to the chocolatey and nutty flavors of South American varieties, the world of coffee is as rich and varied as the regions it comes from. The life of a coffee plant begins with a single seed, a tiny bean that holds the potential to grow into a lush, productive shrub. Carefully selected seeds are sown in nurseries, where they germinate and sprout into young seedlings. This initial stage is crucial, as the quality of the seed determines the future health and productivity of the plant. These tender seedlings require meticulous care, including ample shade, regular watering, and protection from pests and diseases. Workers in the nursery monitor the seedlings closely, ensuring they receive the right amount of nutrients and water to thrive. Once the seedlings are strong enough, typically after 6 to 12 months, they are transplanted to larger fields. This transition is a critical phase, as the young plants must adapt to their new environment. Farmers prepare the land carefully, ensuring proper soil drainage and adequate sunlight for optimal growth. They often test the soil to make sure it has the right pH balance and nutrients needed for coffee plants to flourish. The young coffee plants are then planted in rows, spaced apart to allow for air circulation and ease of harvesting. Proper spacing is essential to prevent overcrowding, which can lead to diseases and reduced yields. It takes about 3 to 4 years for a coffee plant to bear fruit, and each plant can produce fruit for up to 100 years. During this time, the plants are regularly pruned and cared for to ensure they remain healthy and productive, providing a continuous supply of coffee beans. Harvesting coffee cherries is a labor-intensive process, often done by hand to ensure the selection of only the ripest berries. The timing of the harvest is crucial, as it directly impacts the flavor of the coffee. Coffee cherries ripen at different times, even on the same branch, so pickers must carefully select only the deep red, fully mature cherries. In some regions, mechanical harvesters are used to speed up the process, but these machines can't distinguish between ripe and unripe cherries as effectively as human hands. Once the coffee cherries are harvested, they are transported quickly to processing facilities to prevent spoilage. Processing refers to the removal of the outer layers of the coffee cherry to extract the precious coffee beans within. This crucial step must be done carefully to preserve the quality and flavor of the beans. There are two primary methods of processing coffee, the dry method and the wet method. Each method imparts distinct characteristics to the final cup of coffee. The dry method, also known as natural processing, is the oldest and simplest method, relying on natural sunlight for drying. The wet method, introduced later, involves removing the pulp and mucilage before drying, resulting in a cleaner, brighter flavor profile. Section 5. The dry method, sun-kissed beans for unique flavors. The dry method, the oldest and most traditional processing method, involves drying the coffee cherries whole without removing the pulp or skin. The freshly harvested cherries are spread out in thin layers on patios or raised beds, where they are raked and turned regularly to ensure even drying. This drying process, which can take several weeks, allows the beans to absorb sugars and flavors from the fruit, resulting in a sweeter, fruitier cup of coffee with a heavier body. The dry method is often favored for producing coffees with unique flavor profiles, though it requires meticulous attention to detail and favorable weather conditions. Section 6. The wet method, a cleaner, brighter cup of coffee. The journey to achieving this begins with the meticulous process known as the wet method. The wet method, also known as washed processing, is a more modern approach that involves removing the outer layers of the coffee cherry before drying. This method is favored for its ability to produce a more refined and consistent flavor profile. After harvesting, the cherries are pulped to remove the skin and pulp, leaving the beans coated in a sticky mucilage. This step is crucial as it prepares the beans for the next stage of processing. The beans are then fermented in tanks of water, allowing naturally occurring enzymes to break down the mucilage. This fermentation process is essential for developing the coffee's unique flavors and characteristics. This fermentation process typically takes 12 to 72 hours and plays a crucial role in shaping the flavor of the coffee. The duration of fermentation can significantly impact the final taste, with longer fermentations often resulting in more complex flavor profiles. After fermentation, the beans are washed and scrubbed to remove any remaining mucilage before being laid out to dry. This washing process ensures that the beans are clean and free from any unwanted residues. The wet method produces a cleaner, brighter cup of coffee with more pronounced acidity and a lighter body. This method is particularly popular among specialty coffee producers who seek to highlight the unique flavors and nuances of their beans. Section 7. Roasting, unlocking the flavor potential of coffee beans. Roasting is a transformative process that unlocks the inherent flavors and aromas locked within green coffee beans. The green beans, which have little flavor, are roasted at high temperatures, typically between 370 to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. As the beans heat up, they undergo a series of chemical reactions, transforming their color, aroma, and flavor. The duration and temperature of the roast significantly impact the final flavor profile of the coffee. Lighter roasts tend to be more acidic and highlight the origin characteristics of the beans, while darker roasts develop bolder, more robust flavors with a bittersweet finish. Section 10. Fun facts about coffee that you may have not known. Coffee is the second most traded commodity in the world after oil. The coffee belt, where most of the world's coffee is grown, lies between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. Coffee beans are not actually beans, but rather seeds of the coffee cherry fruit. The average lifespan of a coffee plant is 25 to 30 years. Brazil is the world's largest coffee producer, followed by Vietnam and Colombia. Section 11. Conclusion. Savoring the journey from bean to brew. The next time you enjoy a cup of coffee, take a moment to appreciate the long and fascinating journey it took to reach your cup. From the humble coffee bean to the aromatic brew, countless hands and meticulous processes have contributed to creating this beloved beverage. Understanding the journey from bean to brew allows us to appreciate the complexities and nuances of coffee, deepening our enjoyment of this global beverage. So, the next time you take a sip, savor the flavors and aromas, knowing that you're experiencing the culmination of a remarkable journey. Thanks for watching, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to learn how other stuff is made.